All right, in this video, we are going to use a set of brand builder skills. That's what I call them. There's 3 skills in here. The goal of what we're going to do today is to come up with or to create a brand guide that will have all of our information about our company, who we are, what we do. It's going to go crawl our website and look at the fonts that we use, the color schemes that we use, what are our call to action or multiple calls to action, and just really get a big picture document that we can use. And why we want to have a brand guide document is that it can now inform all of the other marketing activities that we can use our AI tools to do. So if we're building a new campaign, or we need to write a new landing page or a new sales page, or maybe a sales flyer, a brochure, maybe it's new social media ads, all of those things should be informed by a good comprehensive brand guide that knows how you talk, kind of what your brand voice is, all of those things. So we're going to dive in. Obviously, I'm doing this inside of my Claude Cowork. I have already installed the set of brand builder tools. I picked those up from a guy that I follow and is a great guy to follow if you're interested in, building out your own AI tools. His name is Mike Futia. And I apologize, Mike, if I'm getting that wrong. It's Futia, which the color pink is fuchsia. So, but I don't know, I don't know how to pronounce fuchsia or futia. Either way, there you go. He's a good guy to follow. Lots of great tools. I've learned a lot from him. Let's dive in. I've already installed the skills, so we're not going to go through that. We're just going to dive in right now and say, let's use our brand builder skills along with my website to build a set of comprehensive brand guide documents. So that's me. I'm using WhisperFlow to narrate into the machine, and HSBSAI. Put in my website address. I do have that over here. I also have installed, in order to accomplish this, it's using a tool called Firecrawl, which is an API that you can add in there. It's basically free unless you just use it a whole ton. They give you like 500 credits a month to use. So it'll go out and use all that. But it's going to ask me some questions. Let's just dive in. I am using the Opus 4.7 model, which is supposedly their best. However, there's a lot of people, including me, who are very upset that Anthropic basically watered down their latest version of their AI models. So it's far less helpful. It's far less smart. It seems to have a smaller context window, although they say it hasn't changed. How they manage the memory changed. It's been a step backwards. It's still great. We're just spoiled. The one before it was really good. So here's what it's doing right now. It's going out to read all of those skills. So you can see it's reading the skill MD. It's finding some files. I started it in the folder. I should have mentioned that. Like, we use our Small Biz OS system here. Hopefully, if you're using our tools, you're following along with using that system. So I did install the Brand Builder tools inside its own dedicated Small Biz OS folder. So it has its own skill files, memory files. It's going to remember what we do and how we want to do it. So here we go. Now we get into, I need to use your Firecrawl to go scrape your website. So I'm just going to say always allow. If you're worried about it, you could just say allow it for this task only. I use Claude enough now that I feel confident that I can trust giving him permission. He's not just going to go randomly scrape websites unless you're specifically asking him to. So one of the things I'll point out, he hasn't started with a progress task list yet. Soon, hopefully, he will come up with a progress list. Right now, he's still trying to get his head around, okay, what am I really trying to do here? What are we trying to accomplish? It's going out, scraping the homepage using Firecrawl. Colors, fonts, typography in a structured way, which is what he needs for the brand DNA. Excellent, good grab. That means he was able to use my Firecrawl well. And you use a tool like Firecrawl because AIs cannot read websites like you and I read a website. It just feels so normal and natural. We look at a website with our eyes. We see colors, we see words. Some words are larger, some are smaller. There are buttons you can click around. AIs can't see those things the way we see them. AI sees thousands of lines of code that it's reading on the back end. If you've ever looked at the HTML code that makes up the back end of a website, It's just thousands of lines of code, most of which don't have anything to do with the actual words on the page. It's all the plugins that are running, it's the WordPress structure that the whole website is built around. So it has to try to tease out what is really important here and what's not important. Firecrawl gives it the ability to see a website like humans see a website, almost visually be able to see it. Now, you could also feed screenshots. Claude and GPT, all of the models now are able to process images like that. So I could have gone through the process of just taking screenshots of my entire website from top to bottom and handed him those, but even that's not quite as handy. Certainly, it's much more time consuming for me. So here we go. We're off to a good start. I've got your brand. Here's the company name, your tagline category. Here are the primary colors that you're using here. I noticed it didn't pick up my gold color, so that's a little bit concerning. I'll want to make sure we have that. We have this kind of gold yellow tone throughout our logo and throughout the web page here. You can see we use it. That's really our secondary color, not sky blue. I'm not sure where it picked up sky blue anywhere on my website, as a matter of fact, because that color, other than maybe some of those logos at the bottom, that color doesn't exist on this page. All right, let's see. So now I've got your messaging, your hero headline, value proposition, your trust, CTAs, 5 name pains. Here's the products that you sell. Here's some social proof, brand voice. All right, good. So does this match how you see your business? Anything to correct, move, or add? Yeah, I want to grab my color. So I have a little tool here that I use that you can basically hover this point over any color. And if I click, that will grab it and it's off screen now. But that allows me to get the hex code for this exact shade of yellow. So I'm going to go back and say, you got the secondary color wrong somehow. We don't have that sky blue as a secondary color at all on the website. Here's our secondary color. It's more of a yellow gold color. Here's the hex code for that. So I'm going to put in a pound sign because that's how it likes hex codes. And oh, it already had saved a pound sign. So there we go. Let's update that. And Claude does this cool thing now. You can see it actually shows you, it displays the colors. It did that up here as well. This looks black, but it's actually a dark navy. I don't know how well that'll come through. This is a great way to tell the difference. You can see this is a dark navy, whereas this is really more of a black color here, even though this is not pure black. That's the website designer and me coming out. Sorry about that. All right, let's see. Got it? Firecrawl grabbed Divi's default blue and labeled it. Okay, so here's our colors. Got that. Here's our near black navy that I was just showing you. Background off-white. All right, that gold reframes the brand personality. Gold and deep navy. Trustworthy, authority with warmth. So all these colors have psychology, and don't discount that. That matters. All right, anything else? Let's see, there's 6 categories. The website, ICP specific. So now this is going to get interesting. I might have to pause the video and answer some questions here. I think we're good to move on to the next step. So let's just keep on moving through for sake of not making this video an hour long. I apologize in advance. This could potentially take a while, but this is one of those things you do once, and once you get this done and dialed in, you'll never need to do it again, and you'll have an asset. This is a real important brand asset that informs everything you do or most of what you do going forward. All right, gap filling time. Site tells me what SA small biz sells, but not who you actually want to sell it to. Who's your single best fit client? So I'm going to pause the video here and fill in the answers to these questions, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I cheated a little bit. I have already had a couple of documents that we used from the initial setup of the business and kind of created a little bit of a brand guide, this master reference document. And we also had a style guide that we created, which was a PDF document. I don't know if I can open this here. No, it's not going to open it here. I can't find it in my, yeah, I can. this is something that you should have, and maybe we'll get another version of this come out of the back end. So I used, again, AI tools to come up with who's our audience. This isn't really so much about who we are. It's just a very small portion about the audience. The other document has that, but it's got our color palettes here, which are not completely accurate, actually. So I'm hesitant. I don't want this to confuse it. So you know what? I'm probably going to remove this. I'm glad I looked at this with you because these colors are off. These are not exactly the hex codes, and all that's going to do is confuse Claude even more. So I'm going to hit the X and remove that and just give him this text document, which has a lot of good information. Let's submit all that. Should have done that while I was explaining it to you. So I told him I've uploaded a document here. Told him a couple of documents. He'll probably get confused about that. That will answer a lot, if not most all of those questions. This master reference document does have a lot of, so this is just another document that I created with AI, and I've updated it several times as we have built out the business and modified who we are, a bit about us, the founders, our origin story. Here's some of our credentials and experience. Don't use claims like this. Here's the services that we offer, etc. So he's going to read that. Read it. This is a gold mine. Makes my next batch of questions unnecessary. Quick few things. One contradiction. How do you want to reconcile? Yes, we will remove deep dive from the banned list because we are definitely going to be using it and therefore need to be able to use that term as well. Okay, we've got first step of this three-step process done already, which was to create this brand DNA. MD is the abbreviation for markdown format. So this can be read. You can open an MD file in any kind of text editor. I typically don't use Word very much. It just takes up so much memory on your computer when it's running. I lean towards the text edit app that's built into all Macs, but I've also downloaded, and this is a completely free. If you Google it, you will find a markdown document reader and editor for Macs that's also free. And you'll see Markdown uses like these little hashtags throughout. If it wants something to be bold, it will put two asterisks in front of and behind it. At any rate, let's just take a quick peek through this. Let's see what it's working on. Oh, needs a question here. So I hate trying to catch back up with it. Let me just see. Which rewrite sounds most like SBSA's voice? Pick the closest match or other. So I'm going to pause so you don't have to watch me figure out what this is, and I'll answer the question. We'll come back and pick it up. Okay, so it's doing really good work here is what's going on. What he has discovered is that a lot of the content on our website, which is true, was written before a lot of our master voice brand documents were created. There's M dashes everywhere. We're using some buzzwords that we said let's not use, and some sentences are longer than 20 words. One of my instructions was let's try to keep it shorter. AI tends to write very long run-on sentences, which are grammatically correct, but difficult to read for a lot of people. So short and punchy is my preferred style. So it's just saying, hey, I've got some things here. I noticed that your website, I'm going to ignore the website violations because it was written before we've had these other updates on the voice. Let me just make sure I'm on the right track. Which one of these sounds kind of more like you? And I'm going to go with the operator blunt token, or choice, I guess would be a better word here. That's just how I tend to talk to people. I'm a little direct, I guess, and like to be blunt. Dry versus warm on the wit. Warm and folksy, mostly serious, no wit, just clear. Dry, observational. I'm going to go with dry, observational. When invoking credibility, which framing wins? Credibility, story, earned, not bragged. Ooh, boy, these are tough questions. These are like deep questions for you to think about. I guess that's the good side of all this is that it's asking really good questions, and it did such a thorough job reading my website. It knows, hey, your website is not consistent with the other voice brand voice rules that we had set up before. So, which one wins? Numbers, story, or earned, not bragged? I'm going to go with that one. We're just going to find out what that actually means. when you're starting a new business like this, so we have obviously our agency has been around, our marketing agency for 15 plus years now, 16 years. And I've got a lot of credibility obviously built up with that over that time frame. But this small biz AI consulting is a brand new company for us. So I have to kind of treat this like it's a brand new company. We can borrow a lot of our authority and expertise from the agency work that we've done. But it's going back to writing. So let's take a quick peek at what it did in the brand DNA. So here's who your brand is, your tagline, your business model, your website, your one-line summary. We help AI business owners put AI to work the right way because we're business owners ourselves who use it every day to run our company. This is always a mess. So this table, it can read, but I can't read because all of the lines, the separators collapse down. It's just, it always happens that way in a text document, no matter what kind of text document. The colors, the typography, it knows what fonts that we're using and like to use in our stuff. We've got our logo, our visual style, photography style, button style, the buttons on our website, our hero headlines, about us, why us, our value proposition, cut through the noise, which is something that everybody needs right now. There's a lot of noise. 5 main pain points. Here's a key benefits, calls to action, safe value phrases, social proof. Here's a lot of social proof elements we can use. Who we should sound like. 2 normal business owners talking to another normal small business owner. We have wisdom, experience, but we're not above anyone. We're just regular guys who figured out some things and want to share what works. That's exactly how I want to sound. Who we do not want to sound like, tone profile. So this is all your brand voice, direct, warm, practical, confident, anti-jargon. I don't want to use fancy terms that people don't understand. Here's our first person perspective. Chad and I are a team. Don't make it about Neil. Signature language. Hard voice rules. No M dashes. Never use a comma, a period, a colon, but don't use M dashes. Don't use SMB. It likes to use that for small business. Write at an 8th grade reading level. So these are important things that you probably should be thinking about putting into your own brand voice. Try to keep your sentences shorter. Try to keep your paragraphs shorter. So many people these days are ADD, and if you give them a big long paragraph that's just filled, they'll skip over that. People will just scan right by that. So if you have content, and usually you want people to read your content, you better follow some of these rules. No jargon, buzzwords, no fabricated stats. Here's things that are banned. Here's our plumber test. Would a plumber, bakery owner, or hair salon owner understand this? Would they feel talked down to? If it's not a clear yes and a clear no, then rewrite it. Man, this is such good stuff. Because again, think about this. This now becomes the core of all future writing that your AI is going to do about your business. It's not going to sound like an AI. It's going to sound like you, and it knows what to use, what words not to use, how to write, what style, the length, the reading level. Here's ideal industries, geographical scope, core problem solved, purchase drivers, common objections, disqualifiers, competitive archetype comparisons, key differentiators, market positioning. Wow, this is like, you would have to go, if you went to like a big time marketing agency, you would probably pay $20,000 to $50,000 historically for a company to do this kind of audit and develop this kind of content. Like if you're a multi-million dollar business and you go to a big name marketing agency, you're going to pay 20 to 50,000 for this. It's crazy. Current push, compliance guardrails, forbidden claims, fallback. Here's info about the founders, your core principles. Wow, metadata. Okay, that's one of the 3 files. Now we're back to questions here. Do you have any first-party customer data before I run web search? Let me just tell it. This is a brand new business that's just getting started up, so we don't have any past customers yet. Just trying to save it the time and energy of trying to go find how many persona cards do you want. Let's just do 3 recommended by industry. So now what it's doing is building what it calls an ICP. So you can see it's established the checklist up here, and we are almost done with our checklist in case you're wondering. ICP is your something customer persona, your ideal customer persona. That's what it is, or customer profile, some people call it. There's other terms people use, and this is why I hate using jargon. Like even I can't keep up with all the jargon sometimes. ICP, there's another three-letter abbreviation that means the exact same thing as your ideal customer persona here. How many persona cards do you want? Okay, so it's now building my persona cards. We'll take a quick peek at those. Then it's just gonna, I think this is the end of it now. So it's created the brand DNA, it's created the brand. Oh, I've got a separate document. So I'm watching my folder over here that this is connected to. This is a separate one, brand voice. So this is a little bit different than my brand DNA, which includes a lot of the voice things that we saw. So this is going to be a repeat in large part of what we saw in the previous document, but this stands alone as a separate document. What I would do is next time I need to create website content, a blog post, marketing materials of any sort, I'm going to take these three documents and feed it back into Claude and say, okay, I've given you my brand DNA and brand voice. Now what I want you to do is create this kind of marketing materials for me. Make sure you follow those brand voice guidelines. So more of the same word choice, contractions. I do like using contractions. You will find that AI doesn't like to do that. That makes language sound very formal, especially in writing where it doesn't use contractions. So I like that. That's just another good tip. Quoted examples, rhythm and pacing, repetition patterns, list usage, tone modifiers, authority, empathy. Use these, don't use these. Banned terms that I don't want it to use at all. Calibration example. I don't even know what that means. Generic sentence. Or AI consulting helps small businesses get better results from their marketing and operations. That's generic. This is how I'd rewrite this for me. Most AI tools sit unused. We fix that. Short sentences. Problem, solution. Real business owners, real tools, real results, no fluff, no jargon, no strategic frameworks you'll never read again. Much better, right? Hopefully you would agree with that. Why this works, how to write a headline, how to write a body paragraph. Wow, I haven't even seen all these. So I've done, obviously, I have done other documents, but I haven't done this one yet. Okay, Claude wants to start. Okay, so I'm just gonna allow all. I thought earlier in this thing I clicked allow all, but you'll find that once, sometimes when you think you've given it permission to just do whatever it needs to do, it's going to keep coming back here. Claude wants to get a job status from Firecrawl, so I'm going to always allow that. Maybe it was a slightly different variation. So Firecrawl has like 17 different tools that it can call and use. And like reading a website is just one of the 17. So maybe writing to a file is another one of the 17, or reviewing extracted data is another one of the 17. So sometimes you have to give multiple approvals like this. This is perfectly normal. All right, I know we're getting long in the video. We are on the basically the last one here. I'm going to pause just so we can take a look at what our ICP persona looks like, because these are really impressive also. So see you in just a sec. Okay, so that took about, let's see, about 5 minutes, which is what it said. It said it's going to take 2 to 5 minutes to create these cards. So ideal customer profile or customer persona cards for my business. Let's see. It created three people is what it did. Three fictitious people. First one is maxed out Mike the contractor. He's a field service business owner who's buried in admin, watching his leads slips. No, his leads slip, knows AI could help, but trusts almost no one to set it up. So here's his identity, his age, his role in life, his education. Here's his lifestyle and values. Here's his specific pain points. Here are his buying triggers and objections, language and media use, platforms he spends his time on, who he follows. All of this is marketing gold. I realize you may not own a marketing agency, but I'm going to tell you, as a marketing agency owner, this is pure solid gold. So second one, we won't go through all these in details. Oops. Oh, it's rewriting my document as we speak. One of the things I noticed on here is he said, okay, caught my own violations. I put M dashes throughout all of these files. I'm going to go back through your files and remove the M dashes. So thanks for doing that. Here's Dr. Stretch Thin, the practice owner. He's a licensed practitioner. Think of maybe a chiropractor who's got a successful practice, but he's now drowning in business operations he never trained for. So here's all of his lifestyle, his education, specific pain points, buying triggers, objections, language that he responds to, and then Rainmaker, reluctant Rachel, small or solo firm attorney, accountant, or advisor who's great at the work and miserable at the business of getting clients. And here's who she is. So now we have three documents. Even if you're not doing your own marketing, maybe you want to update your own website, you want to at least write your own content, you now have three documents that give you incredibly valuable information that you can now hand to an AI. Now the content, the output that you get back from that AI tool is not going to be just kind of generic AI speak that all AIs spit out. Now this is going to be very highly tailored to exactly who you are, who your company is, what kind of language you use, do's and don'ts, reading grade levels, all the things that we've gone through, all the way up to and including three perfect personas. So if I'm creating a, a new marketing ad campaign, I might want to create three different versions of those ads that each speak to each of these personas, each of these people, because this tells the AI, here's the language to use if you want to speak to that medical practice owner who's feeling overwhelmed. He's got a successful practice, but he really needs help. He knows he needs to do something with AI, but doesn't have any clue where to begin, right? Here's the language to use in all of those materials. Very valuable, even if you outsource your information to a marketing agency. If you want to maximize that relationship and help them help you in the best way possible, you run this, you get your documents, you hand that to your marketing person and say, here's who we are, here's how we like to communicate, and here's some ideal directions that you can move in when you're creating our marketing. So incredibly valuable. Like I said, this would be $20,000 to $50,000 at a, New York marketing agency firm if you were a big company. The joy of AI is that small business owners now have access to the same materials and quality of output that were never accessible to us before. So hopefully you got something good out of this. Hopefully you will give this one a try and keep this forever and use it and keep using it. You can certainly always revise it as you go along. Just take those three documents, drop them back into a Claude chat and say, hey, here are my documents. I want to make a few changes along this line. Go through the documents, figure out what needs to be changed, and make sure you get those changes done. That's all you got to say, and the AI will rewrite everything for you, or at least go in and surgically replace. If you're going to use that kind of a conversation or chat session, make sure you're using Opus. You want to use the best model possible. These strategic level documents that are really deep into analyzing who you are, who you speak to, how you speak to them, that calls for the best models that you can put it on. I never once ran up against any limits or context. Now I am on a max plan with Claude. Here we go. Got all my three documents revised, ready to go. Thanks so much. We'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.